I want to introduce you to essay number 3, which is going to be on social satire and the way that it functions and challenges culture. In Units 1 and 2, we talked a lot about how stories can impact individuals, and that so much of our stories are based off fear and anxiety, and that when used correctly, these can be really positive ways to overcome these fears. But in the case of urban legends, sometimes they can actually make our fears and anxieties worse. In Unit 3, I want to talk about the ways that stories can impact an entire culture and influence the way that we see individuals and groups that live within that culture. For this assignment, you'll be choosing a satirical comedy skit between 3 to 10 minutes that makes an argument about a social or cultural issue that it seeks to change or question. You will find and analyze the persuasive and satirical tactics used in the video, and provide specific examples from the video to illustrate how they are used. You will also be looking at some of the messages and ideas brought up in the video, and will argue whether these messages are accurate based off your research. Like every other essay that we've written for this class, you're going to start with an introduction, and you'll have a hook, you'll introduce your video, and end with a thesis statement. Next, you're going to have your setting the groundwork, which is a paragraph that we haven't done before, but basically you're going to describe your video and the context in which it exists. So, who is the speaker, where was it spoken or broadcasted, who is the intended audience, what is the message of the video, what is the video responding to, and if it's responding to a particular event, you'll want to also introduce that event and explain exactly what happened. After that, you'll have your tactics analysis. So this is going to be 2 paragraphs, and each paragraph will focus on a single tactic that was used, whether satirical or persuasive. And you're just going to analyze how it was used in the video, provide examples from the video of how it was used, and then describe why you think this tactic was used, was it effective, and how it made for a stronger or more persuasive video. After your tactics, you're going to jump into your message. So this is where you're going to focus on 2 different messages that the video is sending, and you're going to research those messages and then argue whether or not you think those messages are correct. So you can argue either way. It can be a mix of one is accurate, one is inaccurate, both might be accurate. Any combination is totally fine, but you're going to support that with research. Finally, you'll have your conclusion, which is going to be very similar to any of the conclusions that you've done so far, and that will be the end of your essay. The first step to this writing process is to choose a video. And the video that you choose, you want to make sure that there's a lot to talk about. So it not only talks about an important social issue to you, but it also has a lot of persuasive tactics, satirical tactics, messages that it's making, because that's just going to make for a much more interesting essay to write and to plan. After you've chosen your video, you're going to brainstorm different options for topics for your essay. So what I mean by this are different tactics, different messages, and I'm going to bring you through that process in the next video. But yeah, just in general, you're going to want to come up with lots of different options that you can choose from so that when you're outlining your paper, you're not stuck with just a limited amount of topic options. Once you're done brainstorming, then you can actually narrow down your tactics and your messages, and that's what you're going to use to write your thesis and your topic sentences. Since you're going to have 2 types of body paragraphs, you're also going to be required to use 2 different types of support. For your tactics paragraphs, you're going to be finding specific examples from the video of that tactic being used, and you're going to be providing some analysis of how and why the tactic is used. For your messages paragraphs, you're going to find outside articles from credible sources that are going to either prove or disprove the validity of your message. So once you're done with that, you will be done with the outlining process, so you can actually start writing your essay. and that is going to be the writing process for essay number 3.